Welcome, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising to your December 2025 astrology horoscope. I do recommend listening to these videos by your rising sign first, as your rising sign is really what sets up your whole birth chart and where your houses are and where this energy is going to manifest, what area of life it's going to manifest for you in your physical world. Then I would listen to your sun sign, which will be more indicative of how you're feeling this energy in the career space of your life, and more outwardly focused, I guess. And then moon sign would be more your internal world and how you're feeling the energy more at home. But the rising sign usually is a better indicator of what area of life things are going to be showing up for you and what areas of life the energy is asking you to work with the most. But I do recommend listening to all three together because they often are very synergistic and provide more layers of depths because we are very deep people. So it gives a more holistic view of what is going on for you when you do listen to all three. I also highly recommend listening to the collective reading that I did for December, just because it shows what we're going through on a collective scale, as well as in the second half, I go through the Sabian symbols of Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron, because those three planets are staying within the same degree the entire month long. And when planets are staying within the same degree, especially, I feel like it is a collective, a nudge from the universe, from God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, kind of guiding us to sit with that energy, and that we're being really called to work with that energy on a deeper level. And it is fascinating reading the Sabian symbols for those particular degrees, because it really does highlight what we are feeling collectively and individually. So I do highly recommend listening to that. And now a little bit about me before we get into it. I'm Sarah at Life with Training Wheels, where I utilize a Western tropical zodiac astrology, whole sign house system, and other tools to help guide you on your journey of self-discovery and self-empowerment. My goal is to help you realize that life really is a choose-your-own adventure. You have more control over your life and your thoughts than you think you do, and we really do make this world our reality. One of my favorite quotes is, "Wherever you go, there you are." So if you keep finding yourself in certain situations, good or bad, it may be a time to look into the mirror. If that sounds like something you want to stick around for, a vibe that you can vibe with, then I encourage you to stick around. If this is your first time finding me, thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll stay. If you are returning, thank you so much for returning. Either way, if you could go ahead and engage with this video in some way, like, subscribe, comment, anything like that, it will help my tiny channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into the astrology this month. I do currently have a Your First Astrology course going on right now. It is a 6-week course. I have released the first week video. I am working on editing the second week's video. But basically, I take you from zero, from not knowing how to pull up a birth chart, and walking you through that, and walking you through a couple astrology tools that I use that are free to use, and then explain, the setup of a birth chart, the chart layout, the house system. We'll get into the signs and the planets and understanding your big three, your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. And then finally learning how to take horoscopes like the ones I give here and like many other astrologers give, and how to take your natal chart and really see more layers of how the energy is interacting with your chart on a more personal level. So that course is going on now. It is delivered via email, and you can ask any questions after each week is delivered, each video is delivered, and I really want to make this course yours, so I would love to have you join me. The information for that is in the description box below. I also am starting up a Patreon membership that would be basically a getting to know yourself monthly membership, where I will teach an astrology topic, teach something about the natal chart and how to read it every month. So not only will it be a learning astrology, but then learning about yourself, because I will teach on a topic and then give a 20-minute personal astrology reading for each person in the course or in the Patreon membership each month, according to whatever topic we are discussing that month. So it's like a monthly learning astrology and learning yourself better through astrology membership. If you're interested in joining, the link will be in the description box below for that as well. And although this was a Black Friday deal, I am going to extend it through the month of December, where I will give $25 off of any service I offer on my website if you sign up for my newsletter. I have not really started sending out my new newsletters yet, but I do plan on sending out like weekly astrology, weekly horoscopes, as well as anything else going on any of my YouTube channels or anything else that I feel might be of value or interest to you. It would only be going out weekly at max, perhaps monthly to start. But if you would like to sign up for that, please do so in the description box below. I would love to have you join my newsletter. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I have your chart up on the screen. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is how the Grand Water Trine energy that we had activated all month long with the parade of planets going through Scorpio last month is still active the first part of this month, the first half of this month, while Mercury continues to make its way back through Scorpio. Last month it came back, it had gone into Sagittarius and then came back into Scorpio retrograde, and now it's making its way back out. So it is keeping this active this first half of the month. So as a refresher, this is activating the 3rd, the 7th, and 11th houses for you, which are the social houses. These can also be business houses, but and we'll talk about that in just a second here. But as far as social houses, the 3rd house represents your immediate community, your siblings, and like extended family, that type of social network. The 7th house represents more your one-to-one relationships, so your romantic partnerships, your business partnerships, and like your best friendships, as well as your open enemies. So think like ex-business partnerships, ex-romantic partnerships, those things like that. And then the 11th house represents our wider network, so our larger friendship groups, the groups that we are engaged with, the groups that we belong to. So like if we're on a soccer team or something like that, those are the types of organizations and communities that the 11th house represents, as well as the larger global community as well, right? It's how we present ourselves in the world, how we're connected, how we contribute our uniqueness to the world at large. It represents that as well. And then on a business side of things, third house represents our communication, so it can represent social media and things like that, as well as just day-to-day commerce. Seventh house represents those business partnerships, like I said, and then 11th house can represent a couple things. It can represent social media as well, and like online businesses, especially in today's world, as well as on a financial aspect, it represents the income that or losses that can be that can manifest from the work we put in to our 10th house, which is our career. So these are the things that are being highlighted. So the first half of December seems to be that it will be a very social, socially energized time of year again for you, continuing the energy from November. So that is something to consider. Only this time we are just working with the energy of Mercury in Scorpio, keeping this active. So that'll be the main player in your third house, is Scorpio, or Mercury in Scorpio, wanting to have those deeper, more meaningful conversations, wanting to dig for the truth in the information that is coming to you and that you're taking in. Nothing surface level will do here. Seventh house is where we're, continuing to work with our boundaries and tearing down maybe unhealthy walls that we've built up, and instead replacing those with healthy boundaries, or, things like that, tearing down, deconstructing the negative parts of our relationships and what we've brought to relationships and the programming that has been running our relationships, like deconstructing that and building up healthy boundaries in its place, and really determining like what maybe where we've idealized what we thought relationships could and should be too much, and coming to terms with what relationships are really. Those types of energies we're continuing to work with. And then Jupiter in our 11th house is to continuing to bring us lots of opportunities, abundance, luck, joy, perhaps teachers, things like that, to not only the 11th house area, but also to these other two houses as well. So that energy is continuing. And then to talk about Jupiter is bringing us a lot of energy. Not only is it working with this Grand Water Trine, but it also is in this Grand Water Trine. The most significant piece is Jupiter is in a pretty exact trine to Saturn all month long. So this piece of the Water Grand Trine is an important piece to it. And earlier in the year, Jupiter and Saturn were in a square. So they were kind of in a challenging position. Jupiter wanting to move forward and expand in this 11th house area, and Saturn wanting to take it a little bit slower. So they were at odds with each other. But now they are in a very supportive role with each other, which is really beautiful. But the energy is still moving a little slow. Saturn likes to slow things down and make sure that we're building things on a solid foundation, things like that. Wants us to cross our T's and dot our I's. So it is a little bit slower of an energy anyway. It teaches lessons, things like that. Jupiter is retrograde now, so Jupiter's energy is a little slower right now too, and with it being retrograde, it's kind of more internal. So this is kind of like an internal working of and reworking of this 11th house and 7th house, of understanding who is aligned with us now, who isn't, what relationships maybe we need to let go of, what ones we need to hold on to, what ones keep us down, what ones help us expand into the highest and best versions of ourselves. And it's kind of this internal realization before we externalize it and start acting on it. But the 11th house with Jupiter there, it is expanding, working on expanding our friendship groups, expanding the opportunities of different types of organizations we could get involved in, making sure that we are aligned before we act forward with them and get too involved with them too quickly, and have a better understanding of maybe the ones we need to let go of, and bringing in, perhaps closer business relationships, or having an interaction here between our larger friendship groups and our more intimate relationships as well, having those kind of align with each other as well, because that is important. So that's the type of energy that you're working with this month. And then the other thing that Jupiter is doing all month long is it is continuing this square, which it was in last month as well, to Chiron and Aries. And it is continuing this relationship, this conversation all month long. So squares are felt a little bit harder, right? Trines are this beautiful supportive energy. Things are flowing, opportunities are coming. Squares are more of a tension point. It's where you have to make a decision or really act on something to make the energy flow and to get the lesson out of it. And so Jupiter is providing a lot of opportunity for healing with this Aries area. Now with Jupiter's a benefic planet, so even though there's this tension, it's not going to feel as hard as if, say, Mars was making this tension, right? There's opportunity that you can see and that you can be conscious of with this tension. So it's almost like somebody's helping you through your growth, rather than you kind of being forced and not understanding what's going on. This is more of like a supportive feeling in this growth and in this healing. And so Chiron and Aries is, Chiron's the wounded healer, Aries is our I am. So this is the wounds that we have where we may have had to keep ourselves small for the sake of others. We, weren't afraid to, or we were afraid to really show our true selves, thinking that maybe we weren't going to be seen and be loved and accepted for our true self. And so this, for you in particular, this energy is in your 8th house. So this could be where you have felt the 8th house is about intimacy and shared resources and things like that. So maybe you've had wounds regarding shared resources, wounds in relationships in the past regarding shared bank accounts or things of that nature, or wounds in regard to investments or taxes or something along those lines where you just haven't been able to bring your whole self, or in regards to intimacy and, both emotional intimacy as well as like sexual intimacy. Maybe you have a lot of wounding in that area of your life. This Jupiter working with this energy is providing a lot of opportunity for healing those intimacy wounds, healing how you share yourself with others on all those different levels. Jupiter is providing a lot of healing from your friendship groups, from the groups that you belong to. So maybe you're, in some type of therapy group that's really working with these issues, or maybe, you're on a financial level, maybe you're getting a lot of those gains from your career or something like that, and because those gains are coming in, you're having an opportunity to work on on this shared resources wound, and things like that might be coming up. But the thing that I see as really beautiful here is that we're being given all month long an opportunity to work with this wounded Chiron and really heal ourselves in this area of our lives, and do a deep dive kind of all month long on this area of our lives before these two planets that we've been working with, in our relationship sector, just our relationships overall. And then next year in the spring, January and February, these two planets are going to move into Aries. And we're going to, this Aries area is where we really are bringing our new selves, a new evolution of us into existence. And this is how, collectively this energy is moving into Aries. But for you in particular, it's the new you, and what you're contributing to the world is teaching the world about new levels of intimacy, how to do that from a healed place, right? And so you are going through all this healing this month, so that when these planets move direct and move into Aries, you will be able to build foundations of intimacy from this healed space. You'll be able to know, with Neptune being the dreamer and the visionary and things like that, you'll be able to know what you can realistically dream into reality, because of its help with Saturn as well. Saturn will be able to manifest things into your physical existence, and Neptune is there to kind of dream it into existence. So they'll be working together. And then Saturn is also there because Neptune can see things with a little too rose-colored glasses. So Saturn is going to be here to help keep us rational with things, right? But you're still being given this healing opportunity all month long to be able to come into next year with a clear understanding of how you want to show up with these wounds healed, or at least having a better understanding. And then I think, potentially we could get the true healing coming when we have even more opportunity coming to us when these planets come in. But we will have laid the foundation of this healing work this month. So take that inner work seriously. Do the shadow work that you need to do. Bring the compassion and love to yourself as you work through these things. And maybe that's what this square is about. Maybe your friends are kind of helping you work through the intimacy struggles that you've had in the past, and to see how you don't need to hold yourself back, that people can love you for who you are. People can see your darkness and still love and accept you. And maybe you have some friends, maybe you have these opportunities where this uglier side of you is you're willing to show it, and your friends are surprising you with these open arms saying, I still love you. Like, I'm not perfect either, so why would I expect you to be perfect? Maybe those healing opportunities are coming in that way, but it's a square indicating that it's uncomfortable to go through that, to be vulnerable. But then you're met with this yeah, we have open arms, welcome. So continue to work through that, so that next year you're building healthy foundations and starting off with a strong foot. So then continuing to talk about this Neptune energy. First of all, Neptune stations direct December 10th. So that will be nice to have another planet direct, being able to move all this watery energy that we've kind of been flooded with, right? Kind of been feeling heavy with. We'll be able to move forward and make some forward momentum, forward progress with that, knowing what dreams we can make a reality, having a better understanding of what has been veiled, like, being able to pull back the veil and see the truth of things a little bit better when Neptune stations direct. So that is good. But before that, the first half of the month, I want to talk about this energy going on here. So this sextile between Neptune retrograde and Uranus retrograde, this energy came exact November 20th, which I will link to a video right here, a 3-part short series that I did on this energy, to kind of explain the history of it. But this is a couple things. This energy is part of this overall mini Grand Trine, which I call the Divine Trine, the Divine Mini Trine, because it involves all the outer planets. The outer planets are kind of like the collective planets, right? We feel this energy personally, but it represents kind of what is going on in society in greater. It's slower moving energy. So it's more, on our personal lives, the energy takes longer to see, longer to manifest, as well as it represents the more collective evolution that we go through. And what's fascinating about this mini Grand Trine is when I was looking at it, I didn't look at to see when it started, but it's going to be hanging on with us, humming in the background until 2029. So that to me is just mind-blowing that this energy is going to be holding on that long. But with that being said, this sextile right here, being exact November 20th, and then maintaining its 1 degree of influence, so its potentness through the first half of this month, I really want us to engage with that on a conscious level because it is such a rare occurrence. When I looked at the history of this sextile between these two planets in these signs, it has only happened 18 times from 500 BC to 2500 AD. So that in and of itself is crazy. And then looking at how many times it's happened in these signs with these two planets being retrograde, it's only happened twice before in that history. Once in 598 and the other time in 1853. And we can see, looking at the history, which I talk about in my November 20th series, in 598 the medieval world was awakening, and in 1853 the modern world was awakening. And so now, in the time period that we're in now, we're having a new spiritual, technological awakening. And so when we look at the total 18 times, what it means overall in all instances of these two planets combining in a sextile in these two signs, all times it signifies when collective consciousness is rewriting itself, when the world has been pivoting towards new mystical and technological directions, when spiritual revolutions were arising, when financial systems were reshaping, and when technological leaps were occurring. But with the retrograde to retrograde, which we're at now, this marks the internal, right? Because retrograde is internal energy. An internal rewiring of the collective is going on right now, and of ourselves, not an outward expression. So this is we are in the behind the scenes time of a cosmic recalibration. And so just a reminder that we signed up to be here during this time to take part in this, which is why I want to bring it to our attention so we can work with it on a more conscious level while it is at its peak. So for you, on a more personal level, how you can engage with this as a Virgo sun, moon, or rising is this is happening for you in activating your 9th house and your 7th house, right? So this is our beliefs and relationships undergoing spiritual awakening. So how this might manifest is there might be sudden interest in new spiritual paths for you. So there might be a lot of paradigm shifting going on in this 9th house, like being interested in paths that you weren't interested in or aware of before. Karmic relationships could be coming to an end. There could be a softening of any rigid belief structures that you've had. And you could be, coming into some spiritual soulmate type energy. So the best way to work with it is to be willing to release and surrender old belief systems, being open to new belief systems, allowing relationships to either evolve or dissolve as they might be, and leaning more into spiritual partnerships or collaborations. So that is the way to work with this energy on a more personal, more conscious level. And like I said, this energy is going to be humming along in the background through 2029, but this moment in time right now is when it is most potent. So when we're really reworking our internal process with this, reworking, like when things are bubbling and we're becoming aware, maybe not ready to act yet, but we're becoming aware of things. So if you are becoming aware of things, trust it and go with it, and just have that in the back of your mind that things are working for your highest and best good, right? Especially as this is part of this divine mini Grand Trine. The other energy that is going on all month long is just that it is Sagittarius season. So we have all this energy, all these personal planets in Sagittarius lighting up your house of home and family. So you'll be feeling a lot of energy, a lot of focus on your home and family, kind of as you're going through all these other shifts. But this is working with this energy as well, this water Grand Trine and this mini Grand Trine energy, because as these planets progress through Sagittarius, they are going to be making a square with this Saturn and Neptune, kind of activating it, kind of providing, squares, like I said, are a challenge point. They're where we have to take action on. So there might be some friction here between your 4th house of home and family and your relationships and the boundaries and things, but they are opportunities to really work and dial in this energy right before it moves forward next year as a big main energy shift. So Mars will be working, Mars might bring some tension in the home and family and these relationships, challenging the boundaries, challenging what we think our home and our relationships should be. Then the sun is going to come to either get our ego bruised or, bringing our ego into the equation, as well as just shining a light on anything that Mars, our willpower, our motivation, our desires may have missed. Then Venus will come to follow that, bringing either potentially financial opportunities. So in the 4th house, that could be moving home and family, or, some sort of opportunity around your home, financially speaking, could be coming up, or just, better relationship energy. Even though it's a square, Venus is benefic, so sometimes those squares aren't felt as harshly, or just bringing some more love and compassion, but it could be a little bit of a challenge to our home and our relationships as well. And then Mercury is coming to bring more communication, right? So there could be, when Mercury comes here to make this square, there could be some miscommunication surrounding our home and our more intimate relationships. But it is coming to, I believe, work things out and, bring some more clarity and bring some, bring the pen to the paper, the details to the task of figuring out how to make these energies work in the best way possible for all parties involved. So that is kind of the energy. And then overall, this month, last month, we really just had water energy. So I think we all collectively felt this a little bit of heaviness, this like feeling that things were moving and shaking under the surface, but nothing was really happening yet. We kind of felt like this, all right, when are things going to start popping off? When are we going to start getting forward momentum with some things? Well, now that at the end of November, Saturn and Mercury turned direct. Now in December, we have Neptune that's going to turn direct, as well as we have all this energy in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. Fire signs want to take action and get things going and make moves. And that's part of why, although this energy is square, so it might be a little bit uncomfortable, that's when action happens. When we are a little bit uncomfortable, we feel like we have to move. So this fire energy is giving us the motivation, the willpower, the desire, the forward momentum to make decisions and make things happen. And that for you in particular is going to be stemming from your home life, or your fourth house is also just your emotional world. So that is where this action is going to be coming from, and it is ultimately going to be supportive of you. The only other things happening are a few days ago on December 4th, we had a full moon in your 10th house of career and public reputation. I will link a video right here that I did on that full moon that I do go into briefly by sign. So you can watch that for more details about that. And then at the end of the month, December 19th, we are having a new moon in your 4th house, which will be bringing new opportunities for home and family and things like that. So you have that to look forward to. Also, new moons represent when we want to set new goals in an area. So at the end of the month, it would be a good time to do those types of things, set new goals in your home and family or your emotional world. So that is pretty much it, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for your December forecast. Comment below with how you're feeling this energy, if you're excited for it, if you're nervous for it, just how you're feeling the energy of the world overall. And if you find these videos helpful, where I kind of try to walk you through how to work with the energy on the in the best way possible and to get the best out of it, and how you can contribute to the collective evolution that we are going through on the most conscious level. Just overall, any way that you can engage with this video, it will help my tiny channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, I hope you have a great December. I look forward to seeing you here for the new moon video, as well as for when I put out January's forecasts. And I'm hoping to have time to do 2026 forecasts overall as well. So keep your eyes open for those, and I look forward to seeing you here again. Have a great month.